Hey guys, Slimber here, and I'm back with a new video. I haven't done a video in probably well, no, I just did the Charlie Kirk video, but other than that, I haven't done a video in probably forever. So I figure let's get right into this. This one's on PragerU. It's Dennis Prager. It says, "Your parents don't deserve this." Let's find out what they don't deserve.
There is a pandemic in the Western world, especially, but not only in America, that few are talking about, let alone addressing. This pandemic doesn't actually kill people, but it does ruin lives, crush families, and cause debilitating pain.
Oh my god, Dennis, this fucking pandemic sounds really, really bad. What is it?
Far more than most cases of COVID-19. What pandemic am I talking about? The pandemic of people who do not speak to one or both of their parents.
Yo, I'm sitting here thinking, he's talking about a new COVID. He's talking about a new AIDS epidemic, super AIDS or some shit. This motherfucker's talking about people not talking to their parents. Like, dude, I don't think most people just do that for fucking fuck all. I think most people do that with cause.
Why have these people decided to hurt their parents in one of the worst ways possible? To the extent of not even allowing their parents contact with their grandchildren?
I'm sure for good reason. I'm sure they didn't just wake up one day and were like, fuck my parents. They probably had a pretty good fucking reason to do that.
There are three primary reasons. The first is the rise of the therapeutic mentality. Prior to the explosion of psychotherapy, people were governed by shoulds. But beginning in the 1960s, the therapeutic model replaced the moral model as the guide to one's behavior. A popular phrase at the time was, "There are no shoulds." I'll use a family story to illustrate this point. Despite the fact that his mother was a very difficult woman, my father called her every night. And every night, she would yell at him. As a child, I heard this because instead of holding the phone to his ear, my father would periodically place the phone on the kitchen table. Had my father been born a generation later and told a therapist how much he dreaded calling his mother, the therapist would likely have led my father to believe there was no reason he should talk to her.
Yeah, but there's no reason you should put your kids in a position where they dread talking to you. If your kids stop talking to you because you make them despise having a conversation with you, then maybe you should go look in the mirror.
The therapist would have declared my grandmother toxic and given my father permission to avoid calling her. A culture that declared there are no shoulds would have concurred. But my father lived in the age of shoulds. Moreover, he was a religious Jew who had been taught the 10 Commandments since childhood, the fifth of which is, honor your father and your mother.
I mean, that's kind of stupid, though. He's just gonna fucking deny his feelings of being annoyed by his parents because fucking imaginary Sky Daddy tells him not to. I mean, here's the deal. There are more extreme situations than just being slightly annoyed by your parents and cutting them off. There are people that have been abused. And I know somebody who they don't even know their real father to talk to because as a baby they were raped. She was raped as a baby by him. If she were to find who her father is she obligated to talk to him to fucking fulfill your God's fucking fantasies or whatever? Because that's really fucking stupid if so.
And he believed, as did most Americans, that the 10 Commandments were given by God. In our secular age, the 10 Commandments are largely ignored. In fact, there are no God-given commandments. Instead, you do what you feel is right.
People have always done what they feel is right. I mean, even following the 10 Commandments, fucking, you feel it's real, so you feel it's right. People fucking have always just done what they feel is right.
If you don't feel like talking to your mother or father, you don't. My father, governed by the 10 Commandments and many other shoulds, called his mother every night despite the fact that he rarely felt like doing so. A second reason for this pandemic is parental alienation. This is usually caused by one parent against the other during or after a divorce, frequently, though certainly not always, by the mother against the father. She is so angry at her ex-husband that she has decided to hurt him in one of the worst possible ways, by convincing one or more of their children that their father is a terrible human being, unworthy of their love, respect, or even time.
Which is true, that is a thing that happens, but then the question becomes, what if the mother isn't lying? Because there are, scenarios where that happens. The mother paints the father out to be a piece of shit, he didn't really do anything wrong, and basically he gets vilified to the kids. But there are also scenarios where the mother is telling the truth and the father is a piece of shit and abusive and all that shit. The kids don't want to see them themselves without the mother's opinion. Look at this whole case. In my county, there was a judge about 10 years ago named Lisa Gorsica who had the kids arrested because they didn't want to go see their dad, who they said was abusing them and their mother.
The children should have nothing to do with him. The third reason for this pandemic is ideological. This is the newest excuse for cutting ties with parents. I suspect few people in previous generations encountered parents whose children didn't speak to them because of how the parent voted.
And I suspect in previous generations, Dennis, that most adults didn't have to worry about their parents falling into Facebook conspiracy theories or ideological propaganda like yours. They didn't have to deal with their parents obsessed with politics and dumb fucking shit and having to hear it all the time. I luckily do not have to deal with that, but I know some people that do, and it doesn't sound fucking fun to hear some QAnon retarded shit brought to you every fucking day. I know somebody whose mom fell into QAnon, and she was at January 6th. She was one of the people invading the Capitol. And he cut her off because every day she had something fucking stupid to say in like an antagonizing way to him.
Many Americans hated Richard Nixon, but it's hard to imagine grown men and women in the late 1960s or early 1970s who refused to speak to their parents because the parents voted for Nixon.
People didn't build their identity around Richard Nixon or his campaign like they do with Trump now. People didn't fucking do that, so it wasn't as annoying, and it wasn't, you didn't have shit like Richard Nixon crying that the election was rigged. I guess he did a little rigging himself, Watergate, but, so I guess he would be the last one to bitch about it, but still, nonetheless, you didn't have him doing shit like that, and his followers fucking following around. Even when in 74, when fucking Watergate happened, the vast majority of people were disgusted. They were like, what the fuck? Whereas Trump now, his followers would be sucking his fucking dick still. They'd be denying it, like the Epstein stuff right now.
But many parents who voted for Donald Trump have a child who does not speak to them.
Then they need to look in the fucking mirror, dude. If you are so insufferable that your own child will not talk to you over politics, then you need to look in the fucking mirror and see why that is. Because I highly doubt it's just a political difference. I'm pretty certain you're probably obsessed with the shit. You're bringing the dumbest fucking takes possible to them, or you're being antagonistic constantly. Who would want to deal with that? Let's be honest here. Nobody wants to sit and talk politics all day. At least nobody who's normal. You got people like me and a couple other people that are fucking weirdos that will do it. But for the most part, most normal people, that shit stresses them out. And honestly, it stresses me out too. I apparently fucking have a thing for punishing myself. I don't know. But I know somebody who's crying about the fact one of his kids won't talk to him. His sister barely talks to him. He has no friends. This motherfucker went to the bar one night and came home and told me, he said, yeah, that guy was a Democrat. Most people do not meet somebody and ask them their political affiliation. I said, this is why you do not have any friends. This right here.
For the record, I am not speaking about myself. My 2 sons and 2 stepsons and I speak frequently, love one another, and share values. But I know how lucky I am. I have met a lot of good people who have at least one child who no longer speaks to them.
To me, that sounds like a sign they're not good people. Most people, I don't think anybody's ever cut their parents off because they're too compassionate. I don't think anybody's ever cut their parents off because they're too nice. You know, they're too good people. I can't fucking have them around me being an evil fuck. What the fuck? But that's a sign to me that they're not good people. And at the very least, they're insufferable.
Yes, there are times when a parent is so abusive, pathological, or evil that communication becomes essentially impossible. And it is important to note, you do not have to love your parents. Just talk to them.
What an insane compromise right there. You don't have to love them. Just please, dear God, just talk to them, please. I'm fucking tired of them blowing me up about QAnon every fucking night. Like, Jesus Christ, Prager.
Even the Bible, which commands people to love their neighbor, to love the stranger, and to love God, never commands us to love our parents. But at the very least, we owe them this, not to inflict terrible pain on them.
So, like, do they owe you that too, or is it just like a one-way thing, you know? Because, like I said, I think if people are cutting their parents off, the parents have probably inflicted a great pain on them. I don't think they're just doing it for shits and giggles.
Indeed, the infliction of such pain on a parent is about as great an act of cruelty as most people will ever inflict on another human being.
I can tell that this is 100% has been inspired by your boomer audience, whose kids probably don't talk to them because they probably send them a bunch of retarded shit a day or something. They've probably fallen deep down the Trump train. And I will give them advice that's actually decent. I know you guys talk about pulling yourself up by your bootstraps. Well, I'm going to tell you to take some personal responsibility here and look in the mirror. Examine your own behavior. Look at what pushed your kids away from you. And stop that behavior. That is my suggestion.
If there is a God who gave the 10 Commandments, these people will be judged accordingly. I'm Dennis Prager. If this video...
Yeah, guys, you get that at the end? You'll be judged accordingly. If you don't fucking tolerate a bunch of bullshit from your fucking parents, whether that's abusive bullshit, whether that's annoying bullshit, whether that's maybe them teaching your kids fucking propaganda or whatever, showing them that, you're gonna go to hell. Yep. That's what we've gotten to this point, that we have to threaten you to get you to talk to your fucking annoying ass boomer parents. But anyways, guys, that's the new video. How you guys liking the new iPad camera thing I'm doing? Is it looking decent? I got the Yeti on the iPad. But yeah, Slimver out.